Good morning, good afternoon and good evening. Welcome back to the channel. If you're new, my name is Luna Rhodes, channel name Luna Avengers. So thank you ever so much for joining me. So guys, this is my out of cinema reaction of Avatar Fire and Ash. Now I'll be honest, I wasn't the biggest fan of Avatar The Way of Water, but Fire and Ash, guys, I have to say, this is a stronger film. In my humble opinion, it is definitely a stronger film, but a protracted film, okay? But let's get into it. As somebody who values a well choreographed action sequence and fight scene, I have to say I was left wanting with this film. There was little that felt genuinely new in the language of movement. Much of the aerial shots, the underwater sequences, the bow and arrow action felt recycled from the first two movies. And given the fact that this is James Cameron, who is one of my, if not my favorite director, or one of my favorite directors, honestly I was hoping for a bolder evolution in action design and fight sequences and choreography, but that never quite arrives for me in this film. However, where this film is untouchable is in the imagery, as expected, okay? Whew, James Cameron, you did that. The imagery in this film was absolutely breathtaking, prestigious, immaculate, no complaints.
All right, okay, all right.
Every frame felt carefully composed and immersive. Jake, Neytiri, and even Quaritch often felt physically present in every frame, to the point where the technology disappears entirely. The facial capture work was exceptional. They captured every micro expression and emotional nuance with striking realism. And as I was watching, I felt that I'm not watching visual effects, I'm watching tangible beings and performance. It was just outstanding. They very much elevated the visuals in this movie. And I didn't even watch it in 3D, I watched it in 2D. Second viewing, I'm gonna go watch it in 3D because I will watch this again. But as I say, 2D, they did that French kiss, okay? It was just mind-blowingly beautiful. But the strength of this film wasn't even in the spectacle or the visuals. It was more so in the characters. First of all, Neytiri. Once again, Neytiri's arc was the emotional backbone of this movie. This is a woman who has endured profound loss, and the grief that she carries has hardened into anger and resentment even towards Jake and her children because of their heritage. Essentially, their children have human DNA, and this evokes such internal conflict with Neytiri. This is a woman who has essentially lost everything: the forest, her father, and now her son, and all the mistakes and errors in their journey. She's become a hardened character. And I'll be honest, when you think about who she was before she met Jake, she had peace, she had her family. Her family was intact despite the humans being there. She had everything.
That's not entirely accurate.
And then Jake comes into her life and completely derails everything. And I was like, sis, we all know, okay?
Okay, girl.
Honestly, the performance is quietly devastating. Every look, every pause communicates a woman who was once living in harmony, but who now feels fractured from who she was. And all she has left is her faith, is her religion. So I thought her arc was just very intriguing. And of course, for me, the emotional core of this film. Now Spider, I have to say, he was a character that absolutely irked me in The Way of Water. But without giving away any spoilers, his role carries real weight and the existential threat that his very existence poses to the future of Pandora and the Na'vi people. I loved that whole arc and the decisions that Jake is confronted with. I thought that was just brilliant. For me, the first act and second act of this film was fantastic. Now, as for Colonel Quaritch, who is now Na'vi, and his kinky Ash Queen, the new character.
What do I want?
I have to say, I was hoping that she would be positioned as a truly devastating antagonist, one who embodies destructive power of fire, rather than being a sidekick and somebody completely enthralled by human weaponry and armory, because that's all she was, in my humble opinion. So I felt that she was underutilized. Now Quaritch himself, however, is more compelling than in the previous movie. He's deeply conflicted and torn himself with his identity and duty and fatherhood. At one stage, you think that he's going to align with one group, but then supports another to the detriment of everyone else. Now, in terms of the rest of the story, the other characters and the connection to Awa, this part of the movie fell a bit flat for me, I have to say. Once again, the children... It was a bit of inertia once again, and it didn't quite land for me, I'm afraid. I feel that they've really explored and exhausted the stories of all of these characters, and I feel that this should be really the finale of what I believe should be a trilogy and not I think there's going to be 2 more movies in this franchise, but I feel they've really exhausted the story of Jake, of neytiri and their children, and Awa, and the spirituality element and the colonialism element. I feel they've really exhausted all of it, and I feel that this should be the final part of the Avatar story. Any more, I fear people will lose interest, because I have to say neytiri still for me is the most intriguing character, but at the same time it's kind of getting a bit repetitive and tiresome. Gone is the joy in these movies and the adventure of these movies. It's more so conflict after hate, after anguish. It's like, can we just get a breathing space? Can the Na'vi not be happy as we experienced with the first movie, with the original? So I feel that they've reached an end with all of these characters. I don't know how much more of the story can be told, but trust James Cameron, he'll come up with more. But I feel they've really exhausted everything with the Na'vi story and with Avatar. That's in my humble opinion. Somebody who absolutely loved the original movie, didn't really care for the sequel, but this is a stronger movie, 100%. Stronger in storyline, stronger in performance, stronger in visuals. As I say, the action sequences were somewhat cyclical, nothing inventive or novel in this movie in terms of the action, but still a stronger movie. Protracted, they could have at least cut 30 minutes away of this movie and truncated all of the storytelling around the children once again. I'm just saying, but I felt this was a stronger film. So in terms of how I would rank it, it's Avatar, Fire and Ash, and then The Way of Water. I wish they better utilised the leader of the Ash people. I was expecting her to be a kind of pyro, X-Men type of character, really utilising her power of fire. But we never really got that. But still a good movie, better than the sequel. But I feel they need to bring this to a close, I really do. That's my humble opinion. If you've loved Fire and Ash, please comment below. If you feel there is much more in the bank, further storytelling for the Avatar franchise, please comment below, give me your ideas, give me your thoughts of where they're going to take the story. I understand that they're going to move the story to Earth, maybe for final, I don't know. But I feel that they've reached a satisfying conclusion with this film. We don't need any more. I would prefer if James Cameron moved on to other projects, but these are the lingering thoughts that I wanted to convey after leaving the cinema. So, please comment below, let me know your thoughts of this movie. If you want me to do a detailed review, please comment below, I shall do so. Other than that, guys, I shall see you on the flip. Have a lovely weekend. Adios for now. Luna Rhodes signing out. Luna Avengers. Bye.